How are you? You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Much appreciated.
You were on the CW show. It's the Network of the Beautiful People.
Oh, yes. Well, thank God I had hair and makeup this morning.
So how are you doing? Is this your first Comic-Con?
It is my first Comic-Con, yes. I've never been here before. It's very scary and overwhelming, but I'm having a good time.
How is it scary and overwhelming? You got all these screaming fans.
I know, but that's scary. It's like I was saying earlier, seeing 2,000 people at our panel when our show hasn't aired yet, I'm like, how do you know we exist? Like, I'm just shooting a little show, and hopefully one day somebody will see it, but I didn't think that there would be so many people who were interested so early on.
Well, there's the books that everyone's reading. Have you read those?
I did. Before shooting the pilot, well, actually during the pilot, the girls were always in the hair and makeup trailer reading the books, and so I did read them just to have a knowledge of where my character was going to go in the long term.
I'm wondering if the books and the show, from what you've seen already in the scripts, are vastly different or kind of along the same lines?
Yeah, from reading the books, the biggest thing that stood out in my mind is I had a very good idea of who this character was from reading the books, but also it's so different from trying to adapt a book to a television series, because you have to plan out for possibly 6 or 7 or 8 seasons. So you have to be able to develop these characters in different ways than the book may have necessarily. And I think that you'll see some of the same qualities in the book that the fans love, but also there's some new life and whatnot that Kevin and Andrew both bring to it.
What made you decide to do the show?
The biggest thing was I love Kevin. I'm such a huge fan of him and his work, and to be a part of a show that he was sort of taking under his wing was such an honor, and it was so different from anything I've ever done. I've never done anything genre, supernatural at all, and that was really exciting, and I just wanted to challenge something new, and that was this show.
We love Kevin, too. We obviously love the Vampire Diaries. Right. Speaking of the Vampire Diaries, there's a love triangle. I heard you talking about it. You're going to get another question.
Love triangles, yes.
Tell us more.
Well, unlike the Vampire Diaries, I think this is a sort of different love triangle. In the Vampire Diaries, there's sort of a tug-of-war between Nina and the 2 boys, whereas on this show, there's a bit of a tug-of-war between 2 ladies and a man. So it's a little different, but there's also so many different triangles on the show that lead into one huge fat triangle. There's so many different relationships that are being explored throughout the series that it's so fun and exciting. It's such an ensemble cast. There's so many of us that they can play with so many different storylines.
Now, speaking of character, your character, she's been through tragedy.
Yes.
She finds out she's a witch. Not easy to deal with when you're in high school.
No.
So how do you want the audience to relate to your character?
Right. It's such a great question, and I sort of struggled with that initially because you want it to be a very real thing. Coming into a town and then finding out that you're a witch and that your mom was a witch, and that can be a really overwhelming thing. So I think the biggest thing was just to be as real as possible. Not that I have any experience with someone telling me that I'm a witch, but I just tried to react to it.
That happens to you a lot?
It does. Let me just tell you. No, but I tried to react to it in a way that I feel like I would react if someone was to do that to me. And I think that the audience is discovering all these things along with my character, so they'll sort of see it through the eyes of her. And I think because of that, it'll help them understand her a little bit better and understand this world a little better.
We can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for talking to us.